Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Beach's Jewelry Center in Atlantic Beach, Florida. Here at Monahan's we do quite a few repairs throughout the course of the day. We have a very brisk repair department for our jewelry store. One of the principal things that we do is ring sizing. Whenever we sell an engagement ring, or some people bring their old rings in that need to be sized, but whenever a ring is sold, typically it needs to be sized to the person's finger. This is my jeweler, Willie. And Willie's been with us 25 years and is an excellent craftsman, excellent jeweler, and he's going to take you kind of step by step through a ring sizing. Right here we have a solitaire that was recently sold, and it's a pear-shaped diamond. It's in yellow gold, and it currently is sized at around 4 3/4. It needs to go down to a half a size for the customer to a 4 1/4. So what we do first is we determine what the size of the ring is using a mandrel, and the ring is currently on the mandrel, and you can see that it's sized at 4 3/4. Next, we take our divider and we measure the amount that the ring has to come down. In this particular case, it is half a size, and the divider will show us how much of the ring shank needs to be cut in order to reduce the size to the amount necessary. Willie has now measured with on the mandrel the amount, and he's now marking the ring for his cuts using the divider. Now that the ring's been marked, we're going to take our handsaw, and he's going to neatly remove the amount necessary to come down a half a size. Do not try this at home, folks. So now we've removed the piece necessary to reduce the size, and at this point Willie's going to be smoothing, using his flex shaft. He's going to be smoothing the area that was just cut to prepare it for soldering. Now we take our ring bender and we bend the ring in to close the gap between the two sides of the shank that were just removed. Now this isn't so hard on a simple solitaire, but if you can imagine on a really wide band, something that's very thick, it can really use a lot of hand strength in order to bring those two pieces of metal together. Now Willie's brought that ring together now, and at this point he's going to use some borax and to help protect the diamond as well, and then after that he'll use some flux to help clean the area prior to soldering. And there's the flux. Now diamonds can take an incredible amount of heat, so you don't have to do really much to protect the stone during sizing. This is all preparing the metal. Now we use a small amount of solder. The solder comes in sheets, and you basically cut off a little piece of solder and melt it onto the head of your pick, and then heat the area of the ring so that it gets hot enough to receive the molten gold and close the seam. Now when you're sizing, he's got to size both the exterior and the interior of the ring, so we just flowed some solder into some gold into the exterior of the shank, and now he's melting some more solder, attaching it to his pick and flowing it into the interior of the shank. Very good. Now he'll have to prepare the area again and smooth it using his flex shaft. And prior to doing that, he'll need to submerge it in his pickle pot. Back your tongs. Now he's put it in the pickle pot, and he's preparing it for smoothing. and polishing now. The idea now is that when the solder flows onto the ring, it flows evenly, but the ring is a little bit more bulky. And so now it's his job to smooth out that area that he's just soldered, as well as re-round the ring on his mandrel using a wooden mallet and his metal mandrel. I'm doing both sides now to make sure that it's nice and round, uniform. And then a little bit more smoothing prior to going in and polishing. Here at Monahan's, we probably size 3,000 rings over the course of any given year. So we do a lot of ring sizing, to say the least. And Willie's our man. He really does a wonderful job. And some of those principles with soldering and things, you use those same principles when you're doing repairs or antique restoration. In this particular instance, though, we're working on the ring sizing. So now we smooth and start to polish. He does a pre-polish on the area with his hand tool before taking it over to the buffing wheel to complete the polishing of the ring. Now he's going to use the lathe as well. Now we're going to go in and polish. Now here we are in the buffing machine. Applying buffing compound to the wheels. This helps to remove any of the scratches and also to put a nice high polish on the interior and exterior of the ring, necessary for having a proper finish. And when it's completed, it's very difficult to see that the ring's ever even been sized. It looks like it's brand new and in one piece. It's really pretty amazing. That's the kind of quality people come to expect when they come to our store. At Monahan's, the jewelry looks better coming out than it did when it came in. That's our goal. Applies a little rouge, and this is the final step on the polishing to put that high mirror finish on the metal. There it is, high polish. At this point, we're going to soak our ring to remove any of the remaining buffing compound. And then after a few minutes of that, we'll be able to steam it off and you'll have a brand new, beautifully sized ring at Monahan Beach's Jewelry Center. So it was a pleasure showing everybody how this is done, and we look forward to seeing you for our next one.